Did the Warriors make a mistake in trading away James Wiseman? Could they make a deal for Kristaps Porzingis? And is Jonathan Kuminga going to get shipped out this offseason? That's what's coming up on Golden State Warriors today. But before we start, let's interact on Twitter. Really need your help in sharing this video. Let your friends and family members know how unique our coverage is on Warriors today. And maybe they don't know about us. That's difficult to fathom because we have nearly 50,000 subscribers. But share this video. Click that share icon here on YouTube. Select that Twitter icon. Post to Twitter. Then you can also at me, at Chase_Senior. Certainly appreciate the support. Let's begin with story topic number one. That is James Wiseman, who continues to play really good basketball for the Detroit Pistons. And he's been given ample playing opportunity, and that's why his numbers have gone up. But did the Warriors make a mistake in trading him away? This was the danger. This was the concern. This was the fear in trading away a young player who had untapped potential. With his numbers, you look at them, obviously his numbers have increased because the minutes per game are up drastically. He's getting nearly 27 minutes of action every night following that deal, following the NBA trade deadline. And because of that, his numbers are pretty damn good. 14 points per game nearly, just north of 9 rebounds per block per night as he continues to be a pretty solid rim protector, and he's shooting about 56% from the floor. I think it's also become clearer and clearer that James Wiseman for this Warriors team was not a system fit. Some of these players are able to play and flourish really, really well within this Steve Kerr Golden State system because it is very offensive friendly, but it's not always friendly to bigs. Here's what Brett Siegel had to say about Wiseman. Offensively, Wiseman certainly had potential in Golden State, but it was limited due to the fact that they always play through their guards, and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson playing through their center was something that the Warriors were never going to adjust to doing, which is why Wiseman would have been setting screens on offense and occasionally find himself as the recipient of a Curry lob to the rim. For some bigs, that's great, like a Kevon Looney, because you don't need to involve him too much in the offense. For James Wiseman, not all that good. So with that, our first poll question of today's show, what do you think? I've always been high on Wiseman. I think he can play. What I saw from him, Santa Cruz Warriors in spurts with the big league team, he had that potential. Did the Warriors make a mistake in trading him away? S for it was a smart decision, type that, or M for mistake. Sound off. Let us know what you think down below. Here's the deal. The Warriors offense, as long as Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are here, it's always going to go through those two individuals, and it's easy to see why. That's why they've won all these NBA championships. That's why, for about a decade, they consistently make deep playoff runs and make it to the NBA Finals. That's why they have 4 rings collectively as a twosome. More on Wiseman from Siegel. In Detroit, James Wiseman has been allowed to play freely because he is a young talent on a young team that is just searching for ways to get better. He's had the ball in his hands. He's been allowed to play freely on both the perimeter and in the paint on offense. And Detroit has been patient with Wiseman instead of trying to make him the final puzzle piece that does not fit in the missing spot like the Warriors were trying to do. And all of that is very true. You knew that with Wiseman going to Detroit, he was going to get more tick, he was going to get more burn, and he was going to be treated more as a focal point of the offense and not a second thought or a third thought, a fourth thought, sometimes even a fifth thought for that offense. A harsh reality, James Wiseman's development would have always been held back with the Golden State Warriors. Didn't really fit the timeline. I mean, shoot, they needed to make a draft selection, right? They had that number 2 pick. It was either LaMelo Ball, it was James Wiseman. Those were really the 2 players who the Warriors were looking at. Even if LaMelo Ball came to the Warriors, I'm not sure what he would look like right now. The numbers certainly wouldn't be like they are with the Charlotte Hornets. And for LaMelo, been injured a lot in his NBA career. Just want to thank Dub Nation. Earlier this morning, we were able to surpass 48,000 subscribers here on the channel. The road to 49K starts now. We've been on the road to 50,000 subscribers. Here's the deal. We need to overtake the Los Angeles Lakers report. We've been able to have this massive comeback on them that has been drastic. And if we can beat them, that would be phenomenal. Plus. It's the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers, Warriors, great rivalry. Lakers report, Warriors today. Let's make it a great rivalry. Let's overtake them with subscribers. How many can we pick up on this video? Dub Nation, I'm challenging you. To some trade rumors for the Warriors. Kristaps Porzingis. Should the Dubs consider trading Jordan Poole for Kristaps Porzingis? Now, this was something that was mentioned by Heavy. They didn't specifically say Jordan Poole for Kristaps Porzingis, but it was lightly discussed, and it would make sense from a financial standpoint, considering both of those players' contracts. Zach Buckley with this one. Golden State will not have the cap space to sign an impact player, but it could swing a major trade if needed. Is there a possibly available star who would want to or might be worth sacrificing Jonathan Kuminga and his sky potential? Do opposing teams think that they can build an offense around Jordan Poole? If they do, his trade value would be enough to anchor a blockbuster. I've said this ever since Jordan Poole started to emerge last year. If you were to put him on like a Detroit Pistons type of team without Cade Cunningham because he's out with injuries, or a Houston Rockets, an Orlando Magic, Jordan Poole, in my opinion, could average between 25, 30-plus points per game if he was the go-to number one option with a lot of playing time and as a starter. With the Warriors, he goes on those heaters, coming in off the bench, or an occasional spot starter when Steph Curry is out, and he's utilized very well in that role. But you look at his numbers and how good and how much he has improved over his last 4 years. From G League potential bust to borderline NBA All-Star and bona fide bucket getter. 8.8 points per game in 2019-20. Then he goes up to 12. Then he goes up to 18.5, and this year, scoring-wise, best year of his career. Field goal percentage and three-point percentage down just a bit, but still the points per game up. As for Kristaps Porzingis, a long, lean, talented big who can cash in from deep. He can mix it up a little bit down low. He's highly skilled, but injuries, massive, massive concern. This year, been able to stay relatively healthy, and because of that, playing good ball alongside Bradley Beal. But I think he was traded away by the Dallas Mavericks for a reason. Didn't really get along with Luka Doncic in terms of the on-court pairing. And with Bradley Beal, it's not resulting in a lot of wins, but the production's certainly there. You get a player like this, you put him in this culture. Obviously, a guy like this can put up some digits, but the numbers wouldn't be this good, right? Nearly 23 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, block and a half. He's not a great defensive player. He's just so tall that he's going to have blocks. But shooting numbers, pretty intriguing. Nearly 49% from the deck, just shy of 38% from downtown. Here is that trade idea. Kristaps Porzingis, Jordan Poole. Would you make it? A, for you to accept it. D, for decline. I am hitting a fat decline here, because Steph Curry, Klay Thompson getting a little bit older. What are you going to do at that guard spot? And this is a guards league. Before we continue to move forward on today's show, have another great deal that we want to tell you about. A bunch of great Warriors gear here on sale, by the way. The We Believe Warriors hoodie, this 2021-2022 championship shirt. You still want to revel in the beauty of the Warriors winning the NBA championship. That's at chatsports.com/Dubs deal. Hats as well. A lot of stuff. You can find it at that link, but make sure you plug in that link so that Fanatics knows that Chat Sports and Warriors Today sent you. As for Jonathan Kuminga, a team that would really like him, a team that would make sense, the upstart Indiana Pacers. You pair him with a guy like Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner in that front court, and Rick Carlisle like that, boom, would have a pretty interesting team. Fansided's Nicholas Kyle Pring proposed a trade idea to send Kuminga to the Pacers. Here's what it is, and for the Warriors, I kind of like it. Chris Duarte is a really good 3-and-D guy. You get Isaiah Jackson and 2 first-round picks. Here's my deal. While I like it, I would not make it because I love Jonathan Kuminga as a player, and I'm going to stand by this. I still think that Jonathan Kuminga can develop into a Jaylen Brown type of player, and he's going to be really important during this playoff run if the Warriors are able to get into the big dance, because if Andrew Wiggins does not return, we'll have to get to some Andrew Wiggins stuff later on this week, because that's obviously a pressing matter. But if you get Jonathan Kuminga to be dialed in defensively, he can make up for what you lose with Andrew Wiggins, and I think that value is certainly going to be important. Obviously, the headliner in this deal that would come back to the Dubs is Chris Duarte. Really liked him coming out of Oregon as a 3-and-D guy. he's translated to that pretty well. He takes a lot of three-pointers, and I'd like to see the three-point numbers go up just a bit. 24 minutes, averaging nearly 11 points per game. And then you look at the three-point numbers. If he can be about a 37, 38% guy and give you high-level defense, a lot of length, that's where his value comes in. Then Isaiah Jackson, more of a backup type of player. 15 minutes per game, 7.5 points, 4 rebounds. Not a guy who's going to light it up from downtown. Field goal percentage because of that, because it's a lot of efficiency around the rim for a big, 56.7%. So those are some thoughts there on that trade proposed by Fansided. You don't get rid of special, and you don't trade away special players, and I think that Jonathan Kuminga is a pretty special player. And if you're talking about restocking the future, you can put that up in preview there, Jack, if we want. 2 first-rounders, definitely enticing. But are we sure that that's enough with the flashes of stardom that Jonathan Kuminga has shown? And that's really what this conversation comes down to. Jonathan Kuminga can be a star in this league, and at some point, he could be that next wave of superstar talent for the Golden State Warriors once Steph Curry, Klay Thompson either move on to the next phase of their lives or move on to the next phase of their basketball lives. And for Kuminga, there's a better player in there. Career stats through 128 games played as of this recording on Tuesday, March 21, 18.5 minutes. If those minutes go up to, let's say, 25, can he average between 12 and 15 points? Field goal percentage, 51. Immediately, he's become a better three-point shooter coming out of the G League Ignite than a lot of people had thought, and maybe he could improve there as well, which then in turn makes him a little bit more lethal. Will Kuminga reach his potential? That's our final question for you. Get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. I'm going to stand pat. I think I was right on James Wiseman. Solid player, just needed to go elsewhere. And remember when we were talking about all these James Wiseman trade rumors and everybody was like, they're not going to trade him. They did, and we were ahead of the game. That's why you subscribe. Thanks for watching.